Hey, what's going on? Luke here, and I gotta admit, the head's a little sore, but the heart is very full after New South Wales Blues were victorious in Game 2 of the 2024 State of Origin Series, equaling up the series 1-1 after Queensland. They absolutely thumped us in Game 1. And to be honest, after Game 1, it was doom and gloom. It really was. It was such a bad performance from the Blues. I would sort of think maybe what Queensland are feeling right now is one of those ones where you look at and you're like, how do we improve this? And then Latrell Mitchell comes back into the side, Cameron Murray's back in, Mitchell Moses comes in, Dylan Edwards is actually fit. Mate, this side is special, and you don't want to get too ahead of yourself, but that was one of the better performances I've seen. Like, as a Blues fan, in my time of seeing the games, I missed the golden eras pretty much, with the Andrew Johns and all that sort of stuff. I pretty much grew up with New South Wales losing year after year. Then we had a few years, recently where we're pretty good, but we should have won more than what we did. We probably had a better team on paper than what we have right now, but the team that we just fielded in Game 2, I did a video a couple weeks ago. I said it was the perfect team, and I stand by it. It's the perfect side for what New South Wales needed. Now, obviously, you could, Nathan Cleary and a few other guys being there would be ideal, but they're not available. With the players we selected, the players available, that was the perfect team, and they showed that. They played as an actual unit rather than individuals, and it was absolutely amazing to see. 34-0 at halftime. I think it set a record for highest halftime scoreline, something along the lines of that. And honestly, Queensland were just never in it. Literally from the start, Queensland never in it. And I think even Queensland fans would admit that. I've seen a few Queensland fans here and there, mainly players like Cameron Munster and stuff, talking about the 50-50 calls didn't go Queensland's way, but I don't know if I'm just being biased here. I didn't really notice too many 50-50 calls that didn't go their way. Even down to the sin binnings, when Queensland sort of had their little mini comeback, it was from a sin bin that I don't really think should have been a sin bin. It just patted him on his head. Queensland come in, escalate it. It was just, I don't know. It was very weird. I will say the refereeing in general was quite strange. It was very inconsistent. Where, in previous NRL games, in previous Origin series and, Origin games, things may have been sin bins in other games and then they weren't in this one, but that kind of went for both sides. I just, the narrative of Queensland didn't get any calls, I disagree. They just completely played off the park. It's kind of like Game 1, New South Wales never in it. As soon as the swinging arm happened, never in it. And I don't think we're in it to start off anyways. They'd already scored a try, so... Anyways, enough about Game 1. We've heard enough about Game 1. Game 2 is where it's at. So the scoreline ended up 38-18. I think the scoreline somewhat... I don't know if it shows the whole story of how... I know it shows that New South Wales absolutely flogged them. That part is clear, but I genuinely thought at one point the Blues were going to score 50. I thought we were going to have another 50 in the house bounce. But no Josh Haddock, so can't be doing that. But they did take the foot off the pedal in the second half, which is kind of expected. I mean... This isn't a Game 1. This isn't, wrapping up the series or anything like that. There's still a third game, and I think that's what everyone needs to keep in mind is that, yes, fantastic win, but job isn't done. Job's nowhere near done. In fact, the hardest game, a game at Suncorp, that's where it's at. Now, this was the one that I thought, if New South Wales was going to win the series, we needed, we're going to win at Game 2. I think we needed to win 1 in Game 2 as well. And then we probably go up to Suncorp and lose. And I still think it's going to be a very, very difficult task. Suncorp, it just brings something out of Queensland. No matter how they've played in the previous series, we've seen times when they've had 50 put on them. They've had some mad scorelines, and then they go to Suncorp down 2-0 and absolutely thump us. So even the worst of teams for Queensland, they seem to get the job done at Suncorp. So it is going to be tough. But Latrell Mitchell, he doesn't lose State of Origin series, and that part is something that still holds true to this day. Live to fight another day. New South Wales, huge win. Just want to talk about individual performances. I thought Dylan Edwards, very solid. Do I think we still would have won if James Tedesco was there? Probably. But I think Dylan Edwards, him being there, it just added that calmness that, I don't know, Tedesco, I think everyone kind of knows it, sort of gets in there a little too much and he sort of gets in the way. Doesn't let the halves be the halves. He has to sort of get his hands on the ball all the time and not necessarily in a good way. Creates good stats, but doesn't create, the right stats with try scored and all that sort of stuff. Where I think Dylan Edwards just does his role, does what he needs to do. Allows Jerome Lawai to fray up a little bit. I think it creates confidence with him. You add in the rest of the guys there too. I think he's a great addition to the side. Obviously, Brian To'o does his thing. Critter, the intercept king, got another one last night. Although, when he gets the intercepts, if it's not from halfway, seems to get run down, but that's okay. The meat is there, stop the try. Latrell Mitchell, he's back, baby. you could say the best centre in the game. He just doesn't want to play centre. And then you have Zach Lomax, who you could argue he might be the best winger in the game. He just doesn't want to play wing. It's funny that, but Zach Lomax outstanding under the high ball. Him up against Talangi. I actually thought there was a mad height difference. And I was saying this to my dad last night. I was like, well, Zach Lomax towers him. No, he doesn't. He just rises above. I think they're just about the same height. So, that did shock me a little bit just because of how much of an aerial threat Zach Lomax is compared to Talangi. I don't really think of Talangi like that. But Zach Lomax is just, you kick to him. The kick doesn't even have to be the best kick. It just has to be a decent kick. And he'll compete for it. And, as we saw, as soon as the kick was made, I was like, Zach Lomax catching that. And he did. So that's 2 tries to Zach Lomax from kick. So he's lived up to his part of the deal in getting picked on the wing for the Blues. I honestly wanted Josh Adokar. I think I was pretty adamant about that. But Zach Lomax he's made me look a fool there, big time. And a big loss for the Dragons too. But Mitchell Moses, I think, was the most influential player coming into the side. 4 try assists. Confidence player. This is what we've got to be wary for in Game 3. Is I think there's a fair few of the Blues guys who are big confidence players. Mitchell Moses being right at the top. In the sense that, he started off the game hot. Got the try assist. Lee Martin goes over. We're fine from there. But if things sort of don't go his way, maybe... I think he got caught out in defence early on. They made a line break. Now, if they'd went and scored, I think it might shatter him. I don't know. But absolutely fantastic game from Mitchell Moses. And, I think it's been talked about, something about, if he kicks his first goal, generally kicks all of them. I think that's kind of, in all aspects of play, Mitchell Moses is kind of like that. If he has a hot start, he's going to have a hot game in general. And what a hot game it was. 4 try assists, man. So good. Controlled it so well. Freed up Jerome Luai a little bit. And I'm really happy to see Jerome Luai playing really well. I think in previous years, he was just getting selected purely off the fact that he was Nathan Cleary's halves partner. Now he's getting picked because he's actually playing really well. And I know it seems dumb considering they've won premiership after premiership and all that sort of stuff, but I feel like we always went into the Origin series with him just being the sidekick, whereas Cleary's been out and he's actually really stepped up rather than the team were winning at Penrith, but it wasn't really because Jerome Luai, you would say, whereas now I think Jerome Luai has done enough to sit, he signed a big contract, he's really stepped up in the Origin arena. Happy with what I've seen with Jerome Luai this series, and, the 4-pack really aimed up. Couldn't really do it in the first game because, playing a man down, absolutely buggered. Still don't quite understand the whole Jake Trbojevic situation. They kind of used the send-off as an excuse for the Game 1, but the exact same thing happened in Game 2. Not really sure what's going on there, whether it's just he starts off the game and sort of takes the sting out of the Queensland defence and then you bring on the big boppers. I'm assuming that's kind of it. There is logic to it, but it's just the fact that he's the captain and he doesn't really play many minutes. The same with Hamali on the bench. Doesn't really get too much game time, but the game was over at halftime, so could experiment a little bit. Connor Watson got a run. Great to see Connor Watson. He's a great story in terms of coming back and looking to left the Roosters for an opportunity. Nice didn't really want him. Goes back to the Roosters. Takes a massive pay cut. Pretty sure no real opportunities for him. Finds himself on the bench utility, and now he's a New South Wales player. So great story for Connor Watson, especially after all the injuries and stuff. I don't really have any bad words to say about New South Wales. They were all really, really good. Can't really look at anyone and be like they sort of underperformed. Just absolute superstars in Game 2 compared to Game 1. Like I said, it all remains, it's all for nothing if Game 3, if they go out and lose. But Queensland, they do need to be a lot better. And the scary thing for Queensland is, like I said, New South Wales, big confidence team. They're going to take a lot of confidence out of this one. And I think Queensland also are a confidence side. You guys like Reece Walsh, we've seen this year, definitely not the player he was last year. And I think he's taken a lot of head knocks. He was just getting manhandled by Latrell Mitchell all night. He pretty much did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. And a lot of the other guys were also like that. The Hammer he's picked up an injury. See if he's in the side. So you just lose your backup fullback as well. Honestly, I feel like last night's game, it kind of really exposed Reece Walsh as a player. When things are going great, he's great. When things are sort of not going great, he's not the guy. He's definitely not the guy. Whereas like your Dylan Edwards, you're going to get a consistent game from him, whether the team's playing phenomenal, whether you know, they're getting smashed. Dylan Edwards still going to have a good game. Reece Walsh, he needs Queensland to be on the front foot. He needs the Broncos to be on the front foot. Otherwise, he's just not effective. But yeah, we saw some of the worst games from Queensland guys, your Tommy Dearden and stuff, who generally are quite consistent. So I think they will hit back. I think it'll be a much closer game. I wouldn't be surprised if Queensland win this one. I'm hoping the Blues can go up to Suncorp and pick up a victory. It would be a great sort of, I don't know, like a miracle series win, something that New South Wales don't generally do. It's more of a Queensland thing. So maybe we can pull off the Queensland in Queensland. I'm hoping so. Anyways, look, 38-18. Let me know in the comment section below who is your man of the match. I thought it was pretty clear cut that Mitchell Moses man of the match, but Angus Crichton for me, another one who was absolutely outstanding. If it wasn't Mitchell Moses, it would have been Angus Crichton for me. Could have got man of the match, but you know, there's a whole heap of players who could have got it. But yeah, Mitchell Moses for me, the easy one. And definitely just show the difference as, you know, bless him, Nico Hines, great guy, but just show the difference between having a guy who lacking a bit of confidence, not sure about himself in the Origin arena, and then having a guy who comes in and he knows what he's about and, you know, he calls the shots and you better do what he says. Whereas Nico Hines, not sure if he's like that. He's not too assertive and, you know, Clubland, Mitchell Moses, that might not be a good thing with some of the players he has around him, but in the Origin arena, that's exactly what you want. So, yeah, let me know in the comment section below your man of the match, your thoughts for the game. And I'm going to wrap things up here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. See yous. Well, that's the end of this video. If you happen to enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe. You know the drill at this point. Everybody YouTuber says it. Just go ahead and do it. It'd really help me out. Also, why not go ahead and check out some of these other videos that are on the screen right now.